Wow, who would have thought? Retail wrap number 5. It's been a great effort so far. The team behind the scenes are actually the ones putting this together. So we are going to continue to do them. I guarantee you we'll continue bringing better and better things throughout 2019. So let's throw back to this in retail wrap number 4. ShopperTrack reports that foot traffic in Australian shopping malls for the Christmas period fell by 9%. Whether it's in our own centres or in other centres, starting to see the vacancy rates a little bit higher. Is that something to do with the economic condition? I think it would be. When we're looking at what we're doing within the leasing department, we are actually being a bit more cautious of what is actually happening. There's no doubt that the times have changed and the environment we're in is actually very different from when it was going back 5 years ago. Looking into what's happening now, we're starting to see things like gyms and play centres going into shopping centres. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'm too comfortable about a gym and a play centre going in a shopping centre. If you want to go to the gym, go to the gym. Milk, $1 milk. We wouldn't do a retail wrap without bringing up this $1 milk. Woolworths this week has fired the first shop for the year and they're agreeing to put up their $1 milk price to $1.10 and they're saying that they can give 10 cents every litre of all their private label to the farmers direct. This move has been applauded by the Australian Dairy Farmers Association, and they've also reported that 40% of dairy farmers did not make any profit between 2016 and 2017. Interestingly enough, it's not Woolworths to blame for this, it was actually Coles who can be blamed for bringing dollar milk, who was saying it was going to be for the consumers because they wanted cheap milk. This was released by some bright spark at Coles at 2012 on Australia Day. Putting our farmers out of jobs, that ain't Australian at all. My mate Stephen Kane from Coles has said, "One thing I can't do as CEO of Coles is disadvantage our customers at a time when they are under household budget strain. I'm looking for a solution, but it needs to be industry-wide." Enlightening. The reality is, Coles started this mess in 2012 Australia Day. It shouldn't be an industry-wide thing to sort it out. It should be them to sort it out. Interestingly enough, the smaller farmers appear to be able to trace their milk a little bit better. And when we're talking about private label, you know, Coles and Woolies, they're up there over 60% of their private label milk. Private label milk you can't get from one small farm, it all needs to be collated, which is making it really hard. And I think that's a main reason why they're finding it hard to be able to give back to the farmers directly, because they don't exactly know where all the milk comes from. That's the advantage that the little guy has in this situation. More than 20% of farming businesses have been out of business since 2016. That's not Australian. Now, we've talked about food sustainability, but this might be taking it to a whole new level. Apparently, in parts of Europe and Asia, insects are growing in popularity as a sustainable source of protein. I don't know if we're ready for that here. Hey, can you grab me a packet of crickets? Doesn't quite have the ring to it as, hey, can you get me a beer, does it? What's the world coming to when you need insects as protein? If anyone wants to know of what these things taste like, we might just get some in, and I'll make the guys behind the camera try it. In today's deep dive, we are going to have a look into why you should buy Australian. This Buying Australia campaign has been going on for a very long time, but how many of you actually support buying local? The latest Roy Morgan report clearly shows that Australians are far more passionate about supporting Australian than in any other country in the world. Not just a little bit, by a lot. 90% of Australians would rather support local. A staggering stat when you compare that to New Zealand and the UK that can only come up with 60% of their people supporting local. Interestingly, the respondents who are asked about buying food made out of China, only 6% of Australians would buy it. Let's take a look at SPC. Here we have a mega corporation like Coca-Cola Amtel who bought a successful manufacturing business in 2005 and they invested $250 million into SPC over the 13 years, and it's posted a loss the whole time, including its forecast loss of $10 million for 2018. Director Alison Watkins has pointed the finger at private label, saying that the aggressive pursuit of private label in these categories by retailers was partly to blame for the ultimate divestment of the SPC brand. It would be a tragedy if SPC business, which is all about Australian grown produce being canned and manufactured in Australia, ceased their manufacturing here in Australia. It would be even worse if we stopped seeing their products on our shelves. Have you noticed that when you go into a store, not one of mine, there's a whole shelf of just one branded tomato sauce? Some businesses think this is a good strategy. All with the one label, nothing else to choose from. This sounds tragic. Where's my selection? Where's my sense of choice? Where's my ability to think I have a contribution into what I'm actually eating rather than just being given this is what you're having? Or should I be making the conscious decision to support a product that supports this country? Are we conditioning the consumers to purchase private label? Well, I know that we're not, and the reality is our private label strategy is very small in the scheme of things. Our private label component across our whole supermarket is 2.3% of total business sales. I've seen reports that Coles and Woolies are looking to take that up over 50%. How do we follow through with that decision to support local if all I'm giving to choose from is that one brand? If I listen to the multinationals, they're telling me private label is growing at a staggering rate. Of course it is, because that's all they can buy in those stores. All well and good that those products might be coming from Australia, but how many of those multinationals are actually supporting Australia? Hey Audi, are you paying all your taxes in this country? Well, I know we're paying 30 cents in the dollar, and I know that money goes back into schools and playgrounds and roads and everything. Who else is doing that? How much tax are they paying? Maybe we should look one day. The government instigated the COOL labelling, which is the country of origin labelling laws, in June 2018, aiming to help consumers identify the percentage of Australian ingredients used in the manufacturing of food product. Made in is a claim about manufacturing process. Grown in is a claim about the food where it's grown. Produced in is a claim about where the ingredients come from. Packed in is used when the food has not been grown, produced or made in a single country. Are people really looking at this? It's almost been around for a year now. Do you actually understand the difference between made in, grown in, product of, or packed in? Because while you say you support Australian, I implore you to go into your pantries and tell me in your comments below how many products you have in there that are Australian made. Do you consciously choose about an Australian made product, or do you really just look at the price? I mean, with the big chains all pushing private label, where does this actually leave one heading into the future? We don't want to be one of those countries that actually doesn't have anything from their own locally sourced product. We have the best produce in the world in this country. We have the best conditions in this country of anywhere in the world. We need to make sure that we look after that. And looking after that is by making sure that we are supporting whenever we can the local province, the local state, or even your country at a last resort. So it should be about making sure that we are a sustainable economy, that we're here for not only the generations of ourselves, but our kids and their kids. So comment below if you actually think you have too much choice in your supermarket experience, or if you don't think you have enough. Tech story? That would be cool. Forget about the robo-dogs that we showed you in retail wrap number 4. US grocer Stop and Shop have announced that they'll be launching the driverless autonomous vehicles in Boston. Wow! The RoboMart and Stop and Shop collaborations will see the autonomous vehicles bringing a selection of shop and stop products. This is amazing. The RoboMart Stop and Shop will come to your house and open up like a mini grocery store where you can come and pick your things out of it and send it on its way. I think I've seen it all. There you have it, retail wrap number 5. Leave the comments below because we do answer them, and if you want to do a deep dive about something or you think you've got some interesting information, happy to collect some information for our stories. Literally anything to do in the ecosystem of retail, which pretty much covers everything on the planet. Both Coles, Woolies and Audi are pushing their private label to be a lot. There's a number. Oh, this is bullshit. I'm not believing this one little bit. To put play centres and gyms in supermarkets, shopping centres. No. Now we're hearing that landlord, shopping centres and now we. I don't know if I'd be comfortable about having my child walking around a super.